Sure. And again, I would remind you that there's no First Amendment right to conduct. There's a First Amendment right to speech, and the things that we're targeting in the bill are not speech. Again, if someone wants to stand across the street from my house and wave the sign on the sidewalk, they have every right to do that, and this bill won't have anything to do with that. But when it veers into conduct, and so the way we're going to approach this is through a hate crime kicker. So if you graffiti a building, it is a crime now. But if your motivation is hate, it will be a third-degree felony. You will spend 5 years in prison. If you want to litter, it's a crime right now. But if you litter and if your motivation is a hate crime, it will be a third-degree felony. You will spend 5 years in jail. It is a crime right now to hang banners from an interstate. For obvious reasons, we don't want to distract drivers. But if you do that and you have a hate crime, a hate motivation, it will be a third-degree felony. You will spend 5 years in jail.
How optimistic are you of moving this bill along?
I guarantee the bill will pass. And I never do that.
I guarantee the bill will pass, says the Hebrew Hammer. What bill would that be, the Hebrew Hammer? Well, that would be anybody talking about the Jews or Israel. Interesting. Whenever I hear hate speech or a hate crime, this is all kabuki theater. This is them telling you and me they have control over us. I can't control social media, so I'm going to control what you say on social media. And I'm going to punish you for 5 years. That fat piece of crap, Fine from Florida, laughing on kids being killed in Gaza. That's a whole nother thing. You know what? If people pressed me, here's the funny thing, just a side note, for all the Jews and Israeli first people that have been calling me and texting me and DMing me and trying to lecture me, you'd be shocked to know that Israel, I believe, absolutely has the right to defend themselves. And if that means they keep getting missiles lobbed at them from Gaza, and I have said this privately and publicly, that if I was a Jew and I was living in Israel and I was the prime minister, I would carpet bomb every nation that tried to hurt me and my people, period. If Cuba lobbed a bomb into America and hurt us, I would expect, or if I was president, I would level Cuba. There would not be a living soul on Cuba. Not one. Not a surgical strike, an annihilation. Just like we did in Japan, an annihilation. Just like we did in Germany, bomb them into annihilation. I have no problem with that. None. My only argument is I don't want to send my money for them to do it. I don't want to send my son or myself to go fight for Jews in Israel, Muslims in Israel, Christians in Israel, anything for Israel. Just as I don't want to send my son or myself or anyone else to Nigeria to fight for the Nigerians as the Muslims slaughter the Christians. Not my problem as a nation. Maybe it's my problem as a Christian, and we need to gather up the arms and go and slaughter the Muslims. That's a different topic. I just did some research looking at Israel and all the wars in the Middle East that we were thrown into for Israel. And I did research. I couldn't find it. What was it I couldn't find? I couldn't find anything definitive, saying that IDF soldiers were in those wars. I felt that very weird. So I just went in Grok and I went on to a couple other AI search engines and just said, were there any Israelis, military soldiers, in participating in the wars that America's been in the Middle East? And they all came back with zeros. So when I hear Randy Fine tell me that if there's a crime committed, he's going to do enhancements for hate speech, you're a jackass. You and your disgustingly fat blob of a body, and all of you, the impotent rhinos, you jackasses have not enforced any law. You can't even put people in jail that committed treason against America because you're gutless. But now you're going to go down to the street level and tell me you're going to put those people in jail? If you commit crimes, graffiti, assault, whatever, I want you in jail. I want that. You're not even doing that. All you're doing is you're trying to silence us and put us in a box. If this was about Muslims, Randy Fine would have no problem with it. If this was about Catholics, no problem. Let the Catholics deal with it. Are we talking about evangelicals? Oh, that's their problem. And the Protestants, let's talk about them. That's their problem. Well, the Jews. Oh my God, did you just say the J word? That is so bigoted. No, you're a Jew, right? Maybe some Jews can answer me or send me an email. Why is it that when we, the Gentiles, use the term Jew, which is your official title in religion, like if you said Catholic, JJ's a Catholic. Well, yeah, I'm a Catholic. I'm very proud of it. Randy is a Jew. Oh, that's anti-Semitic. Can somebody explain that to me? Anybody? Last night I'm laying in bed, going through just closing down my phone and doing everything, and I'm just sitting there thinking about my show the next day, and I'm thinking, and everything is exploding about free speech in Israel, free speech in the Jews, everything. I can't escape it. It's in my algorithms. It's outside my algorithms. It's family and friends. It's discussion between people back and forth to me saying, hey, man, what do you think? Why do you think that? Well, let me explain. I'm getting calls from Jews that I haven't spoken to over a year are calling and lecturing me. And yet I talk about child sex trafficking. I make the allegation in a documentary, as well as making it on the House of the Congress in a congressional testimony, that the United States federal government was leading the largest child sex trafficking organization in modern history. That under oath in congressional testimony, that Mayorkas and Biden are traitors. I got chastised by several very low-ranking, low IQ congresspeople that chastised me about using the word treason, like I'm going to be fearful of them. The complete retarded panel that I had to speak in front of. But my point is, I talk about this, and I talk about everything. Nobody fires back. Sure, I get some people that are upset, and they're like, hey, you shouldn't, is that really treason? Is that the word you want to use? Yeah, that's the word I want to use. Nobody said that I'm going to hell, though. No one said that I'm defiling God's order. No one. The moment that I question, not a declarative statement, not even like a allegation, just an observation. Can someone explain to me the smut rags back in the day, all the way to present digital media of pornography, is owned and run by Jews? Can somebody explain that to me? It's an observation. Another observation. We're sending $4 billion to Israel, and then we're going to fight their wars. Can anybody, that's an observation. Is my observation wrong? I wrote an article on Substack where I said, listen, you have media, entertainment, banking, higher education, Ivy League education. You got politics. You have pornography. You have education. I can go down the list. Why is less than 2% of the population, which are the Jews, Jewish Americans, why are they highly overrepresented, like 40, 50 times overrepresented their population in every category in America? An observation. I didn't say they didn't earn it. I didn't say they're not qualified. I didn't even say they're bad. I just said that's an observation. Look at what I've discovered. Holy hell. You're going to burn in hell, JJ. You're going against God's creation. Those are God's chosen people. You're an anti-Semite. For observing, I observe that we have a homosexual problem in the priesthood and in Catholicism. Haven't been damned to hell yet. I wrote about, talked about, went in front of Congress and talked about Catholic Charities tied to the Catholic Church, and they are one of the main human smuggling organizations. I'm Catholic. I haven't even heard anything from my priest to shut up. How dare you? I've talked about how Muslims should never, ever be allowed to be in our political realm, have no positions of power. And in fact, I believe all Muslims need to be eradicated from our nation. All of them. Because it's incompatible with the West. Our founding fathers never envisioned an invasion of Muslims into our country. Oh, you don't think that's a problem? Go look at Little Mogadishu in Minneapolis. Tell me that's not a problem. Go to Dearborn, Michigan. Tell me they don't have a problem with the call to prayer 5 times a day. And yet, not even the Muslims scream like little bitches. They don't. I will tell you this, and I'll say it until the time that I got to go to war with them, like a kinetic physical war. And I'll say it to them as I'm caving their skulls in. You are an adversary that I respect. You don't whine, you don't bitch, you don't do anything under the table. It's right in my face. This is what we're doing, white America, and you Christians, this is what we are going to do. Here's my plan. I'm going to lay it out on the table for you, and I'm just going to do it. I can respect that. I don't have to like it, but damn it, do I respect it? Oh, hell yeah, I do. I respect it. What I don't respect is people telling me that I can't say certain things in America. You do not, Randy Fine, as you are going through your 7th double cheeseburger of the day, the Hebrew hammer, you don't tell me what I can and can't say, you fat Jew. Not going to do it. Just like I say about Pope Leo, oh, JJ, a fat Jew, that's so anti-Semitic. Really? Have you heard what I called my Pope, Pope Leo, the illegal? I can't stand these gutless people. They just talk both sides of their mouth. They blame everyone under the sun except themselves. And I got Randy Fine, all 600 pounds of him, telling me that I can't talk about anything. Why don't you just say it out loud, Randy, instead of circumventing? Why don't you take a playbook from the Muslims and just tell us you want hate speech tied to anything talking about Jews in Israel? Just be a Muslim for 5 seconds. Just have the balls, the stones to say what needs to be said. I have more respect for them. You're sitting here telling me, well, what is that hate speech? So you're going to tell me that Randy Fine and the members of that sick body of morally decrepit people in Congress are going to dictate to me what is hate speech and what is not? Are you out of your effing mind? You're going to let 535 people that their personal lives are so in disarray, many of them sexually perverse, a lot of pedophiles, drug addicts, wife beaters, finances in disarray, dual citizenship, dual allegiance, are going to tell us what we can say and what's hate speech? Why would anyone give that fat slob, or anyone like that give AOC, for God's sake, or Jim Jordan, or Emmer, or Mitch McConnell? He doesn't even know what planet he's on, or pencil neck John Thune. You're going to let those jackasses tell you what you can say? No, not going to happen. But they're going to try to make it happen, and they're going to vote on it. Hate speech laws. What a bunch of crap. And you know what that means? This is very, very specific law against a very specific group of people, probably two groups of people, ironically. The Muslims, so the Muslims can't say anything in the education field. They can't say anything out in public. They can't say anything. And the whites. That's it. There's only two groups. Because there's only two groups that can be racist. The white group and then the religious hatred of the Muslims. That's it. Randy Fine, why don't you just call it the I hate Muslims and whites bill? They have to shut up. Make it a long, create some great acronym, right? Anything. Make it food related, dude. So it coincides with how many calories you jam in your gigantic pie hole every day to maintain that physique. You know what's very hard for guys like me? I'm just going to say it. I don't care. And men like my father, guys that I went to work with and fought on the ground, guys that are soldiers, all the policemen I talked to. You know it's really hard for us. I don't care how it sounds. It's just very difficult for alpha males like me is to be lectured and then have somebody of that physical stature have some say over our lives. It drives us insane. Insane. That giant fat slob who I wouldn't allow to tell me how to do anything in my life is going to dictate to me what type of language I can use. That fat piece of trash, some dude named the Hebrew Hammer, like he's going to have to be able to confront me physically in any way. Like I would probably dodge his fat arms and fat paws about 3 or 4 punches he throws. He's going to have a heart attack. I win. I don't even have to hit that fat man. He's going to try to swing or take 2 or 3 steps and his heart's going to explode. And I have to take marching orders from that guy because our form of government is so bastardized. We don't live under a republic anymore. We don't have a constitution guarding us. We have people that we put in positions of authority are going to tell us what we can say. And you have a large segment of America, stupid, gutless Americans that are like, yeah, Randy, you do it. You protect the Jews in Israel. Don't you let anybody talk about God's people like that. The New Testament is the new covenant, and I'm God's chosen people. The Jews that followed the Old Testament and they believe in the New Testament, it was fulfilled by Jesus Christ. Those Jews are actually Christians now. So I think that we're now the chosen people. JJ, don't you dare make that connection. Shut your mouth. We have to believe that some piece of land that we carved out in 1948 is the land God promised these people. God almighty. I've had a couple people that have emailed me and tried to talk to me, and I just said, no. You think I'm so off base. I think you have mental problems that I can't help you with. I'm sorry. And I don't have the time. I'm getting older. Every breath I have is mine. I'm not sharing it with you. Just like when people come talk to me about the border and they go, is it really? They find out I'm border patrol, retired border patrol. Is it border really that bad? You know what I tell them? No. Everything's great. Don't worry about it. He has it under control. Why would I do that? Because I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste my time trying to have a kindergartner learn his ABCs when I'm a PhD on this stuff. Now, if you're a high school graduate and you're like, hey, I'm trying to get into college, JJ, like intellectually analogy, I'm trying to get in college, trying to learn. I want to know what you know. Okay, let's have this conversation. But if you're down there in head in the sand, ostrich, rainbows and unicorns, I don't have any time. I don't care. Just like I don't care to talk to anybody, and no one no one better call me again and lecture me about my beliefs. Not, I did that out of just straight professionalism. That ain't never going to happen again. Never, 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 never. Let's look at how this is all going to play out in real time, because it's all connected. I'm going to show you how they're all connected. Here is the Anti-Defamation League, which is a massively funded and racist organization, the ADL, racist to the core racist. And here is Jonathan Greenblatt, as he tries to explain to us about how important it is that all the social media has been created and owned by Jews. JJ, you said the J word again. No. Jonathan Greenblatt said it. I'm quoting him. Go ahead and play this, Nick.
Are you optimistic about TikTok now that sort of an American conglomerate has bought part of the American operation?
Yeah, I mean, look, TikTok, in my mind, I was not someone who believed that changing the ownership will necessarily affect the performance of the product. Case in point, Facebook, founded and owned by a Jewish man, Mark Zuckerberg, and really helped built by Sheryl Sandberg, two Jewish people. Instagram, I think one or both the founders Jewish. Twitter, one of the founders Jewish. Like I could go on, but the point is that
yes, you can.
All those guys are Americans, and X and Insta are so damaging, I think, to the public conversation. So I don't think that the nationality of the ownership will necessarily make it better. The only way it gets better is if the ownership is committed to that outcome. And on that point, I'm optimistic. What else can you be?
Oh, I wonder why X is so damaging. Could it be? I'm not saying that it is this way, but I'm just looking at what Mr. Greenblatt just said, and I'm using intellectual critical thinking that what Mr. Greenblatt was going to say, but he didn't have the balls, like say, of a Muslim. He's stating that X is detrimental because there's not a Jew running it. That's fascinating, isn't it? You keep telling me how they're our greatest ally. You keep doing that. You keep sending me your emails with the 500 or 600 attachments to it, showing me Bible verses and misquoting Bible verses like Ted Cruz. Love it. Love it. Keep sending me it. Keep telling me I'm the one that's off center. Tell me that I have now the leading sponsor of, quote, a hate speech bill. That's all it is. Let's just be honest. That is an anti-Semitic, you can't talk about Jews or Israel bill being passed by the Hebrew Hammer. And now I'm showing you ADL's Greenblatt talking about X needs to be run by a Jew and things will be better. Because the majority, if not all, social media was created and run and owned by Jews. Not my words, Mr. Greenblatt's words. And again, less than 2% of the population runs all of our social media. Do you see a problem? If all the social media was run by Filipinos, I would have a problem. If all of our social media was run by Russians, I would have a problem. If all the social media were run by Chinese nationals or Chinese Americans, would we have a problem? Well, God Almighty, we would have a problem, wouldn't we? Because we had a problem with just one of the social medias run by China. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just making an observation. Let's continue down this road, okay? This is Mark Levin. There's a gentleman, if I could just tee this up real quick. This gentleman on the left is commenting on what Mark Levin says. And his expression basically was my expression when I saw this. And I'm going to tell you right now, I was a huge follower of Mark Levin. Huge for years. I would I would have in Southern California where I worked on the border, it would take you long drives, right? Just to get 15 miles is 45 freaking minutes. So I would listen to his podcast. It got to the point over time, I'm like, I just can't take this guy's whining anymore. And then it became Israel, Israel, Israel before that was really a really big thing. And I just remember being somewhat younger and thinking, well, you're American. Why are we talking? This is like the third night in a row we're talking about Israel. America's on fire right now. The borders are open. We have crime. The economy sucks. We have Obamacare, and we're talking about Israel for the third night. What's going on? And then I started thinking, okay, obviously the connection. But my point about Mark Levin more than anything is Mark Levin is highly intelligent. Like, he's highly intelligent. He is a great orator. He knows his vocabulary is large. He knows the words he's choosing. He does not stutter. He's not halting in his words. He's very fluid because, like him or not, he believes in what he believes. I respect that. However, when I watched this the first time, I stopped it after about 30, 40 seconds, and I said to myself, because I rewound it, he doesn't believe what he's saying. And what is it that he doesn't believe in? I'm going to let you listen to him and listen to his own words. Go ahead and play this, please, Nick.
Celebrating our country. Every July 4th, we're celebrating the principles that undergird our country. If you reject Judaism and you reject Christianity and you reject the link of the two, you reject the Bible. If you reject Judaism and Christianity and the brotherhood and the sisterhood of the two, not only are you rejecting our founding, you're rejecting our country.
You're rejecting the country by rejecting Judaism? Oh my God. This gaslight, yeah, bro. Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, what is this?
You're pushing some other agenda.
Yeah.
Whatever that agenda may be.
Just retire.
We have a responsibility as tens of millions of patriotic, America-loving people.
This guy's a bald retard. That's what he is. He's a bald retard talking shit who doesn't understand the world anymore. It's changed so much that he can't recognize it. And he's so delusional that he thinks that it's something that is people being crazy. No, people are not crazy because they can't afford a house. That's not it. And the whole Judaism and Christianity thing is stupid. Yes, I know. I watched this guy for many years, Zach. It is what it is, right? I'm sure he has good takes on other things. This just certainly isn't one of them. I'll tell you that. It definitely isn't one of them.
He doesn't believe what he just said. I've listened to that man for a long time. I did this for a living, listen to people lie. He's lying. He has no idea. He has no idea what he's saying is the truth. He's just saying stuff. And that's not like Mark Levin. But it's all about Israel and the Jews all the time. If I came on this show every day and just browbeat people about Christianity, about Catholicism, browbeat it, JJ, and you hit me up on the side on the chat, well, you have all these pedophile priests. No, that's a lie. You have all this homosexuality in your priesthood. No, that's a lie. Don't say that. The Pope and the Vatican are corrupt. No, you're not allowed to say that. And I just kept browbeating and telling you all that everything is not as it seems. Everything is great, and the Catholics are just awesome. You would just turn me off. How do I know that you would just turn me off? Because I did that to Mark Levin. I just turned him off. I did that to Charlie Kirk until about maybe a month before he died. I turned Charlie Kirk off because Charlie Kirk was basically a mouthpiece for Israel and all the Jewish donors and the Republican mouthpiece. He became what and I'm a big Rush Limbaugh fan, but Rush Limbaugh I would have to turn him off at times because he was just a water carrier for the Republican Party. And that's what Charlie Kirk was for about at least a couple months. And then he flipped on a dime. He had a come to Jesus moment. I don't know what it was. We'll never know because he's dead. But he changed, and I remember it being very distinct. I remember watching a clip of him, like a current clip that pushed up on my algorithm, and I actually went, whoa, how? When did this happen? When did this change? We went from Israel, and Epstein files that's no problem. Don't worry about it. Bombing Iran's okay. And he was losing people. And all of a sudden he flipped a switch. And he said, I can't do it anymore. What can't you do, Charlie Kirk? What couldn't you do anymore? He couldn't take money from Jewish donors and continue to spew their garbage. Simple. Don't want to hear it. This is an observation that is documented. This is not anti-Semitic. It's not anti-Israel or anti-Jews. This is the truth. Here's someone else that I clicked off. I remember riding in my car with my son. And this was after October 7th, the greatest tragedy in America history. Really? Number one, it's not American history. Two, there's a lot of worse things happen in America than October 7th. Was October 7th horrible? Absolutely. Violence sucks. It's not our violence. And after that, we just heard Ben Shapiro drone on and on and on. And my son, who is he's a young man, turned to me and said, Dad, why is everything about Israel? We live in America. And he's very astute to all the bad things that are happening in America right now. Why are we not talking about that? And me and my son just did what I did to Levin. Click, you're off. We're not listening to you. And this guy, Ben Shapiro, is losing the Daily Wire, is going in the toilet. Why is it going in the toilet? Here's 26 seconds to let you know why it's going into the toilet.
If you're a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean, that is a real thing. Yeah, I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up, but the reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that. The history of America is you go to a place where there is opportunity. And if the opportunities are limited here and they're not changing, then you really should try to think about other places where you have better opportunities. If you're a young person and you can't...
Why is that? Why is the opportunities gone, Ben Shapiro? Why? With your dual citizenship with Israel, where you've said that America is tied to the hip with Israel because as Israel falls, America falls. We can't live without that 9 million population nation that produces nothing. Are you not tired, America, of elitists that are telling you you just need to move? Could it be, Ben Shapiro, that 50 million illegal aliens are in America, another 55 million visa holders are here in America? So over 100, 105, 110, 120 million people are living in America. That is 105 million people that need shelter. So do you think that there would be a supply and demand issue? What about food? Do you think there's a supply and demand issue? Feeding another 110 million people? You think there's a clothing? You think there's an education issue? You think there's a scarcity for medicine, cars, land? But I have to move? Why do I have to move? Why does my life have to change for illegal aliens and us bastardizing the legal system? Why is that? Why do I have to send all of my money to Israel? $4 billion minimum. Why do I have to send all my money to the Middle East, to Ukraine? What if, here's a great idea. We got rid of all the illegal aliens, got rid of all the legal immigration. Just stop, put a pause on it. Stop funding everyone in all the wars, and we focused on Americans, and then Americans had, let's say, $2, $3, $4, $5,000 a month more in their pocket. Now I can live where I want to live, because guess what? There's not a shortage of housing. There's not a shortage of jobs. There's not a shortage of anything, because now we're back to America first. Now we're back to America only. So no, Ben Shapiro, I'm not effing moving. What we're going to do is we're going to start railroading people like you. And I'm watching social media go gangbusters. I'm reading articles that are going gangbusters, and they're all saying the same thing. We're going to bankrupt people like you. We're not going to boycott you. We're not going to do anything nefarious. We're just not going to pay your subscriptions anymore, and you're going to die on the vine. Then you have another country you can go to that you profess your love to. Go on. Set up the Daily Wire, the Daily Israeli. I don't care what you call it. Go do it. America, you have to have had it. And in spite of Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro, I'm going, in their honor, I'm going to play this next clip, and it is from Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes, in 45 seconds, rebuts everything and puts everything into perspective in 45 seconds. Play this, please.
We're in the middle of a Holocaust. Do you know what's happening in Europe and the United States? The white population is being genocided. Where there used to be pillars and cathedrals, where there used to be order, where there used to be science and reason, now there is chaos and death and crime and superstition. And that is because all of these countries were white, were Christian, and now they're not. You want to talk about a Holocaust? We're in the middle of a Holocaust. We're in the middle of our Holocaust.
We're in our Holocaust. Just to put this in perspective, we are a white Christian nation settled by our ancestors, our settlers. If you want to partake in the white Christian culture, then you will abide by the white Christian culture that made us a great nation. And to deny that is to deny reality. It's not racist. It's not over the top. It's just factually true. And I have never apologized for it, but I implore the other Americans, stop apologizing for who you are. It's embarrassing. Why are we taught about the Holocaust, which I think that we should be in our schools, but why are the 30 million Christians that were killed, brutalized by the Bolsheviks, why is that not taught in any of our schools? Why do we not have a Christian Holocaust museum in Washington, D.C.? I think that's a very fair, honest question. Can someone answer that for me? And the answer is you can't answer it. So I will. Because in order to change the nation and the power structure, you have got to get rid of Christianity. And you have to hate it. You have to despise it. You have to manipulate it and bastardize it. You got to create a Jesus that's gay, a Jesus that is effeminate gay man. That is not the Son of God. That's just, as Ben Shapiro mockingly stated, he was just a Jew that tried to overthrow the Romans, and Romans crucified him. That's it. Almost a word for word quote from our greatest ally. God, if I hear that one more effing time, our greatest ally, it's not that they take advantage of us. It's not that Israel takes advantage of us. It's that the people that are my citizens, my brothers and sisters, are that stupid, and I have to live with them in a country because they're that stupid. That makes me more angry and upset than anything. How can you support me? Can you go to my website, jjcarrell.com, jjcarrell.com, carrell.com, or go to jjcarrell.substack.com. I have free content on both sites. Writings, videos, short takes, and then behind a paywall for a small monthly fee on both jjcarrell.com and jjcarrell.substack.com. Paywall have paid subscriber articles I write every week. I have daily takes that I call real takes, conservative Christian observations, Christian commentary under 3 minutes. Just that fast. Go to jjcarrell.com or go to my Substack. Please subscribe. Just subscribe, free subscription. I offer, I think, excellent content. Excellent content. And the way you also can help is support the sponsors of our show. One of my sponsors, big sponsor, patriotsmade.com. patriotsmade.com/JJ. I'm going to give you a quick 30-second spiel. Stop paying the companies that hate you. Stop giving them your money and buying their products that have poisons in them. And go to a company made in America, products made for Americans, by Americans, and they don't hate you. What incredible, incredible idea. Go spend your money in a company that produces better products at a better price, and they don't hate you. Incredible. patriotsmade.com/JJ. Our nation is under attack, and our republic has never, ever been this vulnerable. We are so fractionalized. We are so balkanized. There's no continuity. There's no if you're honest, if you're like just this much honest, there's no continuity. None. You think you're represented? I just showed you Randy Fine. After an all-day smorgasbord buffet that he came from, telling you he's going to create a hate speech law. And damn it, it's going to happen. He guarantees it. Why does he guarantee it? Because everyone in Congress are gutless, and they'll just follow along. Please, I'll vote for anything, Randy. Just don't call me an anti-Semite. God. Oh, and then Americans that sit here, especially the evangelical Christians. I just swear to Lord of mercy, you have been and I'm not angry at you because I was propagandized. I believe this crap too. I did. I'm shocked. I'm ashamed. I believe the same crap you're believing right now. I'm just waiting for you to wake up. It's always interesting. I know I'm going to talk to the choir here for a second, but it's very interesting, isn't it? When and I'm one of these guys. There were things that I believed in. I look back now and I think, how in God's name did you believe any of that crap? Like, you try to pride yourself on being smart. My Lord, you were stupid. You were one of the dumbest people in the society. The things that I believed in, I'm ashamed. I'll be honest, I'm ashamed. But isn't it interesting when you become, and I'm not saying I know everything by no means. The more I learn, the more ignorant I realize I am. But people that have their eyes pried open, sometimes you have to pry them open. Sometimes, like me, you have to beat my eyes open. Isn't it interesting when you're on this side and you're watching people yell at you and call you all these names and you're stupid, and then if you're fortunate enough, you're there at that moment that their eyes go, and it's like they just saw Jesus. Like it's like Jesus came and a thunderbolt of knowledge, bam, into their brain, and their eyes just shoot wide open, and they're like, oh my gosh. And they look at you, and you're looking at them, and they don't know what to say, right? And you instinctively, as a human, you want an apology, right? And if you have any kind of intellectual integrity, which I believe I do, I wanted to apologize. I wanted to say, oh my, I'm so sorry. if they're nice people, kind people, they'll just look at you and say, "It's okay. I was there. I was there." And we know it, right? And they look and they say the same thing. How did I believe that? How did I believe? How? How did I believe that we shot people up into the moon? They popped off some kind of contraption and landed in the ocean safely. And then the dog ate all of the programs, all of the mathematical equations, all the designs of the rockets and the lunar land, all that the dog ate it. A giant pack of wild dogs came to NASA and ate it. And now, what is this? Almost 70 years later, 60 years later, they can't replicate it because, well, of course, the technology was better then than it is now. What? Yeah. We just had better technology. We just lost it. I'm sorry. We just lost it. We don't know where it went. The dogs ate it. Wild wolves. They look like dogs. Could have been wolves. We don't know. Came and ate it. They just took over NASA. It was bedlam. And as an adult now, I look at the videos of the moon landing and I think to myself, oh, JJ, how did you do that? Years later, I find Building 7 in the World Trade Center cabal falls. And I'm thinking, well, obviously the World Trade Centers fell on that and then that fell, right? Or some giant debris fell on it. And no, see, Building 7 looks like a controlled demolition, like identical to controlled demolition. Nothing happened. It was just a lot of wind that day. And the building just fell down. But wouldn't wind knock it down like it would fall down? It wouldn't implode? Well, yeah. But just don't ask questions. What are you, an anti-Semite? Oh, boy. We're being attacked on every front. I'm going to play this quick clip of General Flynn talking to Alex Jones. And he's right. It's about 50 seconds, but he's spot on. Listen to this.
This is bigger than Donald Trump. This is bigger than where we are right now. This is about the future of the United States of America and whether or not we are going to have a legitimate constitutional republic in the years ahead. Well past Donald Trump, right? I mean, whoever ends up being in 2028 or 2032 or beyond, whether or not we get another 50 years out of our republic, never mind another 250 years. So this is bigger, and the United States of America and the people in our country, particularly those duly elected leaders. I mean, I just had two more people get a hold of me today that are running against these rhino establishment people in different states, one for Congress, one for Senate. And they're in both cases, they're veterans, which I love the fact that we have veterans starting to stand up to get back involved in service to the country in a political way. This is bigger than Donald Trump.
He's right. It's bigger than Donald Trump. Nick, I'm going to skip number 7. If you can go get number 8 ready to go. Because this I want to skip to 8 because this is ties, dovetails on everything we're saying. Guess who else wants to begin to have hate speech and control over social media? Not control over social media like we want. Like social media can't deplatform you, can't take your money, can't do all that. No. We're going the opposite. So I want you to listen to this gentleman. His name is Jared Moskowitz. The Democrat, obviously. And then I'm going to follow that up with the FBI director agreeing with everything this man says. Go ahead and play this, please.
There are extremes on the left, and there are extremes on the right. And we collectively should tackle that. But to come here and just look at us and say we all support What's going on in the extremes is why we can't solve anything in this building. Director, let me say first, thank you for being here, and my condolences on the loss of your friend. And I'm happy to hear that you want to do more on the social media platforms. Okay, it's crazy what's going on the social media platforms. There are so many conspiracy theories on what's going on with Charlie Kirk. Israel assassinated him, right? There are conspiracy theories about your personal social life all day. It is totally rampant. Big names on the right, Candace Owens, right? Talking about how what's been released as far as the dialogue between the perpetrator and his roommate is manufactured by the FBI, manufactured by the administration. It is totally rampant, allowing foreign governments to just perpetrate these platforms, all of these bots, all of the time to weaponize Americans. You see what's going on here? This is a byproduct of all of that. What's going on in the streets is a byproduct of all of that. What's happening is you see people celebrate Luigi Mangione is a byproduct of all of that. And so if we want to do something, then we should talk about Section 230. We should talk about how we're going to make sure that we don't let foreign governments poison our children's mind. And so I will work with you on that, Director.
I'll work with you on 230 any day.
No problem. So now, that was the good part.
That's good. I'm sure you will, Kash Patel. Well, here's 23 seconds. Just play this video, 23 seconds of Patel talking about, well, we really need to take control of this social media.
The simple answer, in my opinion, is social media is wildly out of control, and there's too much clickbait in this country. And one of the things I highlighted to Congress in my testimony last week was, if we want to protect our youth, we got to get more involved in social media and online platforms, because that's where the folks, the assassins of this world, get radicalized. That's where they're the lone wolf actors in general. And so we have to get after that problem set. And I asked for Congress to help in doing so. But speaking of Charlie Kirk, who was a very dear friend of mine, and then I was tasked with leading the nation.
That's good, Nick. I can't stand listening to this guy anymore. You know what you could do, Kash Patel? You know what you could do to help the young people, the young minds? Well, we could go and arrest all of the Johns that raped young girls on Epstein's Island. Whoa. What an amazing idea that would be. I bet you could save some lives. How about this, Kash Patel? 2020 election, obvious fraud. And that's the jurisdiction of the FBI. You have jurisdiction. Why aren't you doing anything about that? Went through 4 years of hell. That's treason. Nothing. Nothing. How about the COVID lie and all the people? How about the Russia hoax that Tulsi Gabbard put out there? No arrest. I'm not asking you to prosecute. That's the DOJ and the attorneys. I'm asking you to make an arrest. Have you made an arrest of anybody and any of the major things that have happened to America in, say, the last decade? The answer is no, you haven't. You haven't done anything. Dan Bongino included. Dan Bongino's career is over. He's never going back to Rumble with 2-3 million viewers, subscribers. No way. No way. I banked on Dan Bongino because of that pure fact. He fails, he loses everything. He can't go back and be, what's he going to go back and criticize the FBI for not doing their job? You had a reporter from the Blaze break and make the news of who the pipe bomber was. You had all the same material. You had all the evidence, the videos. You have the same people that can use AI and look at gait and determine who that person is. But no, Kash Patel, we're going to worry about people that are online making disparaging remarks against your girlfriend or against you. You're a public figure. Why do you give a crap what's happening on social media? You think that the lone wolves, you think the people that are talking, why is it so important to control social media right now? Because we're not mainstream media, meaning the mainstream media used to set the narrative, used to set the tone in America, and they just lied to us. Now There's a million shows like mine. You want to listen to far left lunatics with purple hair and nose rings? Have at it. You want to listen to guys like me that are Christian nationalists? Have at it. And everything in between. You want to listen to Nick Fuentes? You want to listen to Mark Levin? You want to listen to Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Candace Owens? You want to listen to people that are just breaking into podcasting and they're very good? Great. Great, 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 and great. But no, the powers to be, what happened to Kash Patel? He's become one of the elites. Kash Patel that said, yeah, I have all the information on JFK. Shock you. Martin Luther King. Shock you. Don't have any of those. We have none of those files. Not like they're going to save them, right? Kash Patel said, yeah, the FBI needs to be turned into a museum. I would do that first day. Oh, okay. No, you're not sure. Is that the new building you just purchased for like for $1 billion? Is that going to be $1 billion museum? No. That's the new FBI building. See, here's the dirty secret. We don't need the FBI. The FBI was an intel gathering, surveillance kind of clearinghouse. It was never meant to be a gun-toting arrest apparatus. It just wasn't. The states have their own Bureau of Investigations. That's what no one understands. Now, is there a role for the FBI? Absolutely. Should it be removed out of Washington, D.C.? Absolutely. Put in Kansas City, Des Moines, Iowa, somewhere in the center, right? So you can't really get to it and make it corrupt. And what should it be? Well, what it should be is just a gigantic information clearinghouse that all of the state, local, and state law enforcement put all their data into it. And then it's where we check fingerprints, we run records checks, we do all this kind of stuff, but you strip it clean. We don't need it. It's redundant. And we've seen what happens when the power is corrupted. They utilize and weaponize the FBI, and they weaponize the FBI. The FBI went in the same time frame Joe Biden was in office compared to Trump. They had already arrested hundreds of American citizens. Hundreds for being waved into the Capitol building, which was all a setup by the feds. You had Christopher Wray and all these people lie under oath. If I lied under oath, I would be thrown in jail. These people, they just lie because that's the norm. That's the currency in Washington, D.C. It's just lie. Just lie, everything's going to be okay. Why is it going to be okay? Because we're all liars and we're all going to take care of each other, because if one falls, everyone falls, so no one's going to fall. Have you figured that out yet, America? The idea that we live under some kind of construct of the Constitution is a lie. What Constitution are we living under? Can you explain it to me? Where in the Constitution says that I had to take a shot? Anywhere in there that I have to take a shot or I get fired, or I can't be in society. Where in there that says in the Constitution says that I can't go to my religious institutions? Well, actually, it does say in there that I can go there anytime I want. But during COVID, you restricted me from going to worship my God. Why is that? At the same time, strip joints were allowed. I could have half-naked women gyrating on me for $25. It's good because COVID, you don't understand. There's like something happened around strip joints that COVID just would not enter. It was scared. It was scared of all the nakedness. Every day, I think it can't be more absurd than it is. And then I wake up and I'm shocked. It's more absurd. It's more in your face. And as bad as I want, and I want to wake everyone up and I want to shake them and I want to be angry, I have to remember that I was that dumb at one time. But no, I'm going to take that back. I've never been that stupid. There are things I believed in, but I've never been as dumb as the vast majority of Americans. No, I won't do that to myself. There were things I believed in that were wrong, but I've never been that stupid. And now, as I grow up, or as I have grown up, I've removed all my filters and I simply have no fear. And that's how I'm going to conduct myself from moving here on up until I die.